This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and today we're going to look at Hasbro's newest convention pain in the ass. That would be CobraLA's Pythona, part of the G.I. Joe Classified series. As with the other CobraLA figures, it seems like she's staying on the market a little bit longer than usual, as the video I recorded a few days after ordering her still had her in stock. Actually, the only one that sold out really fast was Once a Man Cobra Commander. Although I'm going to guess Globulos might actually sell it pretty fast if they put him up there. On the side, we get some nice artwork of her. Unfortunately, the box is got that metallic shine to it, which makes the artwork all kind of blah. You know what I mean? I just don't like it. On the other side, we get that informational stuff that we get with a lot of the G.I. Joe things. And once again, I don't know what any of this means. Does anybody? Although that logo there looks like the little blinded icon from Dead by Daylight. And on the back of the box, we see our product shot with her throwing a group of snakes. We saw that in G.I. Joe the movie. I don't actually remember her having the little snake chakra thing, but you know, we also see a big open mouth thingy. Big open mouth thingy. And a hooded version of her. I can't wait to see how this hood actually works with her though, you know, once we get her open, because of that hairdo she's got. But anyway, let's go ahead and open her up, shall we? So the background is still that kind of inner clamshell thing like we got with both Nemesis Enforcer and Cobra Commander. And considering that a lot of her weapons are all clamshell related, I got a feeling that this is more of a female empowerment thing. I'm going to adjust the camera down a little bit here. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look. Here we have that weird... I guess, actually, these look like moray eels, right? More than snakes coming out of this little thing. It's a four-headed thing. It's designed to attack and kind of... Honestly, it kind of feels like they kind of do the boa constrictor thing, you know, watching the cartoon. At least that was my impression. It's kind of a cool thing. I don't remember this Cthulhu horror-ass thing at all from the show, but damn. It's got a row of teeth on the outside and a row of teeth on the inside. Again, oh my gosh. Am I the only one getting like vagina vibes from a lot of this shit? I'm terrible. Here we have a turtle with tentacles. This one's kind of adorable. Here's that big-ass gem that she hands over to Zartan and the Dreadnoks to buy their services. Here are her two little snake chakra thingies, so she can do Warrior Princess Xena stuff. We've got her first clam weapon with two tongues. I don't remember what this was supposed to do. We've got her second clam weapon, which again, I don't know what exactly. Maybe this one is this the one that spewed out some powder maybe at one point? I should really center myself. But it looks more like how they had Cobra Commander attached for his little trial thing. Now she has a couple of unique hands here. This one with glowing stuff, with smoky stuff coming off of it. I don't remember exactly what scene this came from right offhand. Like, I can kind of see it in my head, but I don't remember if this is something that like she did or something that happened to her. But look at those fingernails, man. Those are some long ass claws she got there. And then we have her dripping poisonous fingernails, which again, she got some long ass claws. Honestly, I'm kind of disappointed that Hasbro did not just give us her hands with the long-ass fingernails in, like, an attack, you know, like she's getting ready to attack with them. Like, fine, I like the whole, we're creating these special effects on them thing. I think that's kind of nice. But just having them as, like, clawed weapon hands would have been great, too, and better. I don't know if anybody's going to use this hand for anything because it looks kind of stupid in my opinion, but that's my opinion. Why don't you guys tell me what you think of it? And then finally, we get to fists. Because we saw her doing a lot of melee fights, right? But hark, that's not all. We do have her... I'm going to call this the vampire head. But it's her screaming with some big old fangs, and the fangs look like it's dripping with the same poison that was coming out of her fingernails. So this is a pretty badass head, though. And it's actually pretty well painted from what I can tell here. And then an extra ponytail. So, I'm guessing the shorter ponytail is meant for when she's wearing the cape. So let's take a look at Pythona herself. First off, somebody's got a foot fetish. They've got each of her individual toes. I'm kind of surprised that they don't have... Oh, they might have toenails being shown there too. Like, you look at this, and obviously this purple thing is supposed to be some kind of garment. Because you can, well, maybe not obviously, but it looks like, you know, a garment because of the way her hands are covered here. And it kind of goes on there like fingerless gloves. So, I guess they don't have shoes, and it covers the individual toes. Like some of those rubber suits you see. Check out some cosplayers online if you want to know more about what I am talking about there. Unfortunately, let's pop her head off here. In the case of this one, her one earring is curved all the way inside her head. I'm going to have to fix that with heat, I think. Alright, so I kind of fixed that earring. That was kind of a shame that was bent like that. Although it's weird because that side also doesn't seem to have as many details as the other side does, the earring. Because on this side, the earring looks like it's got some segmented details. On this side, it does not. But otherwise, her head sculpt looks great. This is a pretty good neutral portrait. And that thing is starting to bend all the way back in again already. Jeez. So that's our Pythona head. She also comes with the cloak that she wears over it. This actually is pretty nicely designed. It's got kind of like a snake skin backing to it, and then just plain purple on the inside to go with the whole CobraLA theme. So I'm going to make the guess here. Let's... The real question is can we get this on her and have it look good? I pulled the ponytail off, but maybe this is actually designed for the ponytail to be on there for it to fit. So let's go ahead and put that back in place. And try it again. Because as we stand right now, it doesn't look particularly good on her when the hood's up. Not that I'm likely to have the hood up on her anyway, just because it just takes away too much of her appearance. But here we go. Although I think too much of her nose is showing for the artwork, but then again, I kind of think that that cut in the hood is actually bigger than what it's supposed to be. So I think that's the best that we can do for keeping her, having that positioned on her properly. Let's turn the hair a little bit. We are going to try to modify this a little bit more. See, now if you get up high enough to hide the bottom of her nose like it should be, it's way too high. Well, then maybe if we push that down. Okay, so we kind of got the look here. By the way, I have not seen any women actually cosplay Pythona for G.I. Joe, and I'm kind of surprised. All right, so let's go ahead and take her cloak off. We know it's probably going to interfere with a lot of the articulation. And let's go ahead and take a good look at her body anyway. I'm going to just say right now, for the record, she's got the biggest titties in G.I. Joe Classified. And they are glorious. My props to the sculptor in this case. They stand out, and they do a good job of standing out. And her, I'm going to have to heat that earring up again. That's just nuts. All right, articulation-wise on this figure. Her hair spins because it's pegged in place. And remember, we can swap it out if we want. I'm wondering if this is a Skybound thing. I have fallen behind on my G.I. Joe comics, so I don't know if we've actually really seen Pythona in there. Really need to catch up. Her head spins around on a ball joint. We can look up and down, left to right, side to side. And yes, I am aware that my speaking does not match up with my actions. It is pegged in at the bottom, so the neck technically moves as well. But, you know, how many people are actually going to move that neck? We have a butterfly joint. And now this figure is basically 100% new sculpt, by the way, in case you were wondering. So, bicep. We can list up and down. Did I just say list up and down? Hinge up and down. Bicep swing. Yeah, I know. Using weird words. Double jointed elbow. You know, the one that Mattel's been taking out of their Masterverse figures for females. Mattel, get with it, will you, please? Fix it. Spin at the wrist. Up and down articulation on the wrist also, which is a G.I. Joe standard. She's got a boob cut, and boy, does she got a boob cut. In this case, though, it's really hard to get her past, like, the 45-degree mark. You can really feel the tightness of it when you do that. So I think you're going to end up like fatiguing the plastic if you do that too much. Then we do have this general waist swivel and round thing here. The whole simulated O-ring factor. Whoa, look at her hair. Legs do still have the drop down hip. Thigh cut. We can kick up so far. We can kick back about that far. You know, her booty, not very well formed. Now, remember that X-Men 97 Jubilee had quite the cake back there. And they gave our Pythona here some really nice boobs, but they kind of dropped the ball on the butt. That's disappointing, Hasbro. Also, I know the diaper is most likely made out of different material than the rest of it, but it's also not as shiny as the rest of it, which is kind of a shame. All right, we can kick out so far, and since she is basically like a ninja, this is good. Double joint at the knee. She can almost kick her own butt. See, there's another reason. Like, her booty should have been out there so you can kick her own butt. Yeah. She does not have a boot cut, however, which is also kind of a shame. Because that would allow you to kind of, you know, move the thigh separately, bend the knee a little bit, and then turn the hand, arm, leg in a little bit. Knees also that, like, not quite a shiny plastic. The feet also seem to be not that shiny of a plastic, but we have a hinge and the spin. So she's got all the standard articulation of a G.I. Joe figure except for the boot cut, which I guess was their money-saving plan there. I don't think I would be using this short hairdo on her at all. I don't like it. So let's go ahead and swap out the heads. We've already kind of looked at the vampire head, but let's put it in place. So, okay, this is where I'm saying clawed attack hands would have been great for this figure with this head. Don't you think? Pull her hand out. Yeah, sure. We got her dripping poison hand here, so she can go ahead and poison Jinx by scraping her on the face or whatever she wanted to do. I think it was Jinx she was going after at the time. Again, that makes for an okay display item, but it's not very attacky, you know what I mean? So again, clawed hands would have been great. Then we have our powder hands here. Like, you know, she accidentally like flung her hand through the cocaine or some shit. All right, so we got that one that we can use too. Again, I don't remember what this was supposed to represent. I'm just going to straight out say I think Hasbro should have just given us the nice clawed hands for attack. Because she did extend her claws in G.I. Joe the movie, and she cut open, like, what was it, some kind of weird thing? I think that might also have been when she used her chemical hands. But she cut open that, like, prison cell with it. So that, I think, would have been much better than this. This specifically. Like, we can keep this. You could have given us 2 of these, actually, one for each side. That would have looked cool, too. But I just, since I don't remember the powder thing, I don't see a point in that. I'm just going to straight out say that. Swap the hands back. I'm not going to bother with the fists. We all know what fists look like in figures. The other issue here, I think, is that she does not have any hands that are designed to hold any of this stuff either when you get right down to it. Like, I guess you can kind of, like, stick that tongue through her little, like, trigger finger spot, but otherwise, they didn't really design this very well for her to hold. So that right there, it's kind of stupid. Here's the little clam thingy. Again, she's not designed to hold this stuff. So what is the point? We didn't need fists. I'm straight out going to say we did not need fists. We needed clawed hands. And chances are, if the clawed hands with an open hand, they probably would have held these things as well. You know what I mean? Because you could have put the claw up like that and then put that on top of it, and that would have worked fine. This thing, on the other hand, should actually just wrap around her arm. So you can kind of make it look like she's getting ready to toss it. Like so. Oh, like that. That works well. Again, well, this thing, kind of like Battle Armor Cobra Commander there, where you can have him like holding this thing up, holding up Serpentor. She could hold this thing up like that, and like, again, what's the point? I feel like they just tried to give us a bunch of CobraLA gimmicks without any purpose to them. Because once again, we have our turtle, our cute little tentacle turtle here. Spider turtle, spider tentacle turtle, octo spider turtle. Yeah, let's go with octo spider turtle. So we got octo spider turtle here. She can hold one leg there and kind of hold it up like this. And that's about it. Again, if they'd given us just clawed hands, you know, ready to attack, we could have just flipped them like this, and then she probably would have been able to hold all those items in her hand better. And finally, let's go with her Shaktra. Maybe if I can get it in her hand. Hey, the one thing that's actually designed to go in the hands, and I can't get it to work. Isn't that kind of ironically stupid? I sort of feel like the snakes should be facing outward. So there you go. There's her little chakra weapon with the little snake eel head thingies. While Pythona did not have a figure in the 80s, the G.I. Joe Collectors Club, about, a decade and a half or 2 decades ago, had a figure of her made for the Collectors Club. So we do have a file card in the style of the 80s. CobraLA Emissary, codename Pythona. Primary specialty is Herald. When I hear primary specialty is Herald, I keep on thinking of her going down on a guy named Harold. Secondary specialty, Assassin. Pythona is the royal messenger of King Galabulos and the harbinger of destruction to all that encounter her. So she's basically the Silver Surfer. And to be perfectly honest, I'd rather have seen Pythona in the role of the Silver Surfer than what we got in that last movie. She is a highly skilled assassin, and her stealth and infiltration abilities are unequaled. Her kingdom and its cult-like followers have a burning hatred of humanity, believing the world's natural beauty is being destroyed by modern industrialization. This has set her on a path to spearhead its downfall. Pythona is a nightmare personified. Contradicting tales describe her as either a stunningly beautiful creature or a frightening banshee. Yes, well, we can see both of those with this figure, so yeah, I can believe that. The hard truth is that anyone that has had the misfortune of crossing her path only lives long enough to deliver her message of doom. It is said that she utilizes razor-sharp claws imbued with a deadly poison to dispatch anyone who is the target of or dares to impede her mission. Rumors such as this and her allegedly deathly pallor suggest that she may be the subject of biogenetic manipulation. Yeah, good guess. I think almost everybody in CobraLA has had that issue. Prepare for eternity! I don't know why I made her sound like the Wicked Witch, but you know, whatever. So my overall on this figure is that she is a stunningly beautiful figure. Our dominatrix of CobraLA here, I think. And as far as G.I. Joe goes, I think she's a great figure to add to your collection just because she is, you know, beautifully done. I know there's a lot of people who don't like the whole CobraLA part of the G.I. Joe mythos. It is kind of a weird thing to have added in there, but once you've gotten around to having Serpentos, the fresh maker. Once you get around to having Serpentor having been created by genetically manipulating a bunch of old DNA, I mean, throwing in some weird alien-esque creatures that live in Siberia, not that far past, you know what I mean? And while this may not fit into the modern aesthetics of a military force, still, it is really cool. And, you know, we got equipment with G.I. Joe that looks like it's ridiculous anyway. Although I've always kind of appreciated how Cobra seems to have more advanced technology than the Joes do. You know, a lot of those early shows, you know, you got like the robot suits, the mech suits, whatever, and stuff like that with Cobra, the mass device, and then G.I. Joe's sitting there and they've just got, you know, traditional army vehicles. I mean, that was always pretty cool. Like, almost like G.I. Joe was the underdog to Cobra. That being said, I do think you should just go ahead and buy her and add her to your collection. Again, she's beautifully done. Whoever, honestly, I made jokes about like the foot fetish and everything, but whoever sculpted her did an excellent job on this. They really cared about trying to capture this figure as best as they could. And I am honestly surprised those boobs got past the Hasbro censors, being that Hasbro just likes to decrease the bust size on all female characters whenever, because, you know, women don't need to have boobs. But why don't you guys let me know what you think of this figure in the comments below. And if you want to hear more of my nonsense in the future, please feel free to subscribe. I thank you for watching. Peace and love.